Hey, you. Yes, you, the woman out there listening to this, with fire in your soul and dreams bigger than the universe itself. Have you ever stopped to think that you might just be the one to change everything? Not in some small, ordinary way, but in a way that makes the stars pause and take notice? I'm Elon, and I'm writing this letter not with ink, not on paper, but straight from the depths of my heart. This is my first love letter, and it's not just for one person, it's for you. Every single one of you who's ever dared to dream, who's ever felt the weight of doubt but kept pushing forward, who's ever looked at the world and thought, I can make it better. This is for you because I believe in you, even if you're not sure you believe in yourself yet. Let me start with a question. What's the one thing that sets your heart racing? What's the dream that keeps you up at night? The idea that feels so big it scares you. Maybe it's building something no one's ever seen before. Maybe it's creating a legacy that outlives you. Maybe it's just proving to yourself that you're capable of more than you've been told. Whatever it is, I see it in you. I see a force, a spark, a supernova waiting to explode. When I started SpaceX, people called me crazy. Rockets, Mars, you're out of your mind, Elon. But you know what? Those crazy dreams are the ones that change the world, and I'm betting you've got a crazy dream of your own. So, what is it? What's the thing that makes your pulse quicken, that makes you feel alive? This letter isn't about romance in the way you might expect. It's not about flowers or candlelit dinners, though those have their place. It's about a deeper kind of love, the love for who you are, who you can become, and the impact you're destined to make. It's about the kind of love that builds empires, that defies gravity, that says, I'm going to do this no matter how impossible it seems. When I think about you, I don't just see a person. I see a mission, a vision, a force of nature that's ready to reshape reality itself. And I'm here to tell you that you don't have to wait for permission. You don't have to wait for the perfect moment. The moment is now, and the permission comes from within. Let's get real for a second. Life isn't a straight line. It's not a clean blueprint with every step laid out in perfect order. It's messy, it's chaotic, and sometimes it feels like the universe itself is conspiring against you. I've been there. I've stood on the edge of failure, staring down the barrel of impossible odds. When SpaceX was on the brink of collapse, when we had just enough money for one more launch, I didn't know if we'd make it, but I kept going. Not because I had all the answers, but because I believed in the vision. And that's what I'm asking you to do right now. Believe in your vision, believe in the fire inside you. Believe that you're capable of building something extraordinary, even when the world tells you it's too hard, too big, too out of reach. This letter is an invitation, not to step into my world, but to step into yours, the boldest, bravest, most audacious version of it. I'm not promising you a smooth ride. I'm not promising a life free of storms or setbacks. What I'm promising is that if you dare to start, if you dare to take that first step, you'll find something incredible on the other side. You'll find a version of yourself that's stronger, wiser, and more powerful than you ever imagined. Think about it like building a rocket. You don't start with a perfect machine. You start with a sketch, a dream, a pile of parts that don't quite fit together. But with every test, every failure, every late night spent tweaking the design, you get closer to something that can break through the atmosphere and touch the stars. You might be wondering why I'm calling this a love letter. It's because love, at its core, isn't just about feelings. It's about commitment. It's about showing up day after day, even when it's hard. It's about believing in something or someone so fiercely that you're willing to fight for it no matter what. And right now, I'm asking you to love yourself that way, to commit to your own growth, your own dreams, your own potential. I've spent my life chasing things that seem impossible, electric cars that can compete with gas, rockets that can land themselves, tunnels that can transform cities. And every single time the world said, it can't be done. But here's the secret. The world is wrong. It's always been wrong about what's possible. And I'm betting on you to prove it wrong again. Let's talk about what it means to build something. When I started Tesla, we weren't just building cars. We were building a future where energy doesn't destroy the planet, where people can move faster, smarter, cleaner. Every late night, every failed prototype, every investor who laughed us out of the room, it was all part of building that future. And you're building something too. Maybe it's a career that changes an industry. Maybe it's a family that carries your values forward. Maybe it's a piece of art, a book, a business, a movement. Whatever it is, it starts with you deciding that it's worth it, that you're worth it, that the vision burning inside you is worth every ounce of effort it takes to make it real. I want you to imagine something with me. Picture yourself standing at the edge of a cliff, looking out at a vast, uncharted landscape. That's your future. It's not mapped out, it's not safe, it's not predictable, but it's yours. And you have a choice. You can stay where you are, safe and comfortable, or you can leap. You can build wings on the way down. That's what I did when I left South Africa with nothing but a suitcase and a dream. That's what I did when I poured everything I had into companies that might have failed. And that's what I'm asking you to do now. Leap, build, dream, because the only thing standing between you and the future you want is the courage to take that first step. This isn't about being fearless. I'm not fearless. I've been terrified, plenty of times terrified of losing everything, of letting down the people who believed in me, of failing to live up to the vision in my head. But courage isn't about not being afraid. It's about feeling the fear and doing it anyway. It's about saying, this matters more than my doubts. And I know you've got that courage inside you. I know it because you're here listening to this, feeling that spark of possibility. You're not here by accident. You're here because you're meant to do something extraordinary, something that makes the world sit up and take notice, something that makes you look back one day and say, I did that, I built that. Um, Let me tell you a story. When we were trying to get the Falcon 1 off the ground, we failed 3 times in a row, 3 launches, 3 explosions, 3 gut punches that made me question everything. I remember standing there watching millions of dollars go up in flames, knowing we were one failure away from losing it all. But you know what kept me going? The vision, the belief that if we could just get it right, we could open the door to the stars. Not just for me, but for humanity. And on that fourth launch, when the rocket finally soared, I felt something bigger than relief. I felt possibility. I felt what it means to push through the impossible and come out the other side. That's what I want for you. That moment when you break through, when you realize you're capable of more than you ever dreamed. You're not just a person, you're a force, a creator, a builder. And this letter is my way of saying that I see you. I see the potential in you to build something that lasts, something that inspires, something that changes the game. Maybe you're thinking, but Elon, I'm not you. I don't have your resources, your brain, your drive. Let me stop you right there. You don't need to be me. You need to be you, the best version of you, the version that doesn't settle, that doesn't give up, that doesn't let the world's doubts drown out your own voice. You've got everything you need already right there inside you. All it takes is the decision to start. So here's my challenge to you. Don't wait. Don't wait for the perfect plan, the perfect timing, the perfect conditions. The universe doesn't care about perfect. It rewards those who show up, who try, who keep going, even when it's hard. Think about the women who've changed the world before you. Marie Curie, who stared down radiation and won 2 Nobel Prizes. Ada Lovelace, who saw the future of computing before computers even existed. They didn't wait for permission. They didn't wait for the world to tell them they were ready. They just did it. And so, can you, this love letter isn't just about dreaming, it's about doing. It's about taking that vision in your head and turning it into something real, something tangible, something that can stand the test of time. I've spent my life building things, rockets, cars, tunnels, neural networks. But the hardest and most rewarding thing I've ever built is belief. Belief in what's possible, belief in the future, belief in people like you. And I'm asking you to build that belief in yourself, to write your own love letter, not to someone else, but to the woman you're becoming, to the life you're creating, to the legacy you're going to leave behind. We're just getting started. This letter is long because the journey is long, but every word is for you. Every idea is a spark to ignite your own. So keep listening, keep dreaming, keep building, because you, my friend, are the architect of something extraordinary. And I can't wait to see what you create. All right, you're still here. Good. That means you're not just listening, you're in this. You're ready to roll up your sleeves and build something that doesn't just exist, but stands tall, unshakable, like a skyscraper piercing the clouds or a rocket breaking free of Earth's gravity. This part of my letter is about architecture, not the kind with steel and concrete, but the kind that shapes who you are, who you're becoming, and the legacy you're going to leave behind. You, the woman out there with dreams bigger than the horizon, are the architect of your own life. And I'm here to tell you that building yourself is the most ambitious project you'll ever take on. It's not easy, it's not quick, but it's worth every ounce of effort. Let's talk about how to make it happen. Think about the greatest structures in the world. The Golden Gate Bridge, spanning 1.7 miles across turbulent waters, the pyramids, standing for over 4,000 years against the sands of time, or even the Starship, designed to carry humanity to Mars and beyond. None of these were thrown together overnight. They took vision, precision, and a relentless refusal to quit. Your life is no different. You're not just living, you're constructing a monument, not to impress anyone else, but to prove to yourself what you're capable of. Every choice you make, every risk you take, every moment you choose to keep going is a brick in that structure. And I'm betting it's going to be a masterpiece. But let's be real. Building anything worthwhile starts with a foundation. Without a solid base, even the tallest skyscraper will crumble. So, what's the foundation of your life? It's not money, not status, not even talent, though you've got plenty of that. It's truth, truth with yourself, truth about what you want, what you're afraid of, what you're willing to fight for. I learned this the hard way. When I was pouring everything into Tesla, there were moments I had to face brutal truths. We were bleeding cash, the production line was a mess, and I was burning out. But admitting those truths didn't break me, it gave me clarity. It showed me where to focus, where to rebuild. So I'm asking you, what's your truth? What's the one thing you've been avoiding, the one fear you haven't faced? Look at it, stare it down, because that's where your foundation begins. Now, a foundation isn't enough on its own. You need a blueprint, a vision of what you're building toward. When I started SpaceX, the blueprint wasn't just build a rocket, it was make humanity multiplanetary. That's the kind of vision that gets you out of bed at 3 a.m., that keeps you going when the world says you're nuts. What's your blueprint? Maybe it's leading a company that changes an industry. Maybe it's raising kids who grow up to be kind, curious world changers. Maybe it's creating art that makes people feel something they can't explain. Whatever it is, make it big, make it bold. Don't settle for a small vision just because it feels safe. Safe is overrated. Safe doesn't get you to Mars. Safe doesn't change the world. Safe doesn't make you feel alive. Here's where it gets tough. Building something great isn't just about dreaming, it's about doing the work. It's about showing up when you're exhausted, when you're doubting yourself, when the odds are stacked against you. I remember the early days of Tesla when we were hand building cars in a factory that was barely holding together. We were losing millions, and every day felt like a battle just to keep the lights on. But every late night, every scrap prototype, every argument with my team, it was all part of the process. You don't build a revolutionary car company by waiting for things to get easy. You build it by grinding, by learning, by refusing to give up. And that's what I want for you. I want you to embrace the grind, to see every setback as a chance to learn, every obstacle as a chance to grow stronger. Let's talk about failure for a minute, because it's part of the architecture of any great life. Failure isn't the opposite of success, it's the raw material. When we lost 3 Falcon 1 rockets in a row, each explosion felt like a punch to the gut, but each one taught us something. A valve was off, a fuel line was miscalculated, a sensor failed. We took those failures, dissected them, and built something better. You've got failures in your past too, don't you? Moments when you fell short, when you didn't get the job, the relationship, the dream. Don't hide from them. Don't let them define you. Use them. Study them. Let them be the steel that reinforces your structure, because a life built without failure is a life that hasn't been tested. And an untested life can't stand tall. Now, let's talk about resilience. It's the mortar that holds your bricks together. It's what keeps your structure standing when the storms hit. And trust me, the storms will hit. Maybe it's a career setback, a personal loss, or just the weight of a world that tells you to stay small, to play it safe, to be less than you are. I've felt that weight where Neuralink was just an idea. People said it was science fiction, that connecting brains to machines was too far-fetched. But I didn't let their doubts stop me. I kept going because resilience isn't about ignoring the storm, it's about standing in it, letting the wind howl, and building anyway. You've got that resilience in you. I know you do. You've made it this far through heartbreaks, through rejections, through moments when you thought you couldn't go on. And yet, here you are, still standing, still dreaming. That's not luck, that's strength. I want you to think about something else, the people who inspire you, the women who've built their own monuments. Think of someone like Katherine Johnson, who calculated the trajectories that got Apollo to the moon, all while facing a world that tried to keep her down. Or Oprah, who turned pain and rejection into a media empire that changed how we talk about truth. These women didn't just dream, they built. They faced doubts, discrimination, failures, and they kept going. They didn't wait for the world to hand them a blueprint. They drew their own. And you can too. You don't need anyone's permission to start building. You don't need a perfect plan. You just need the courage to pick up the first brick and place it. Let's get practical for a second. Building yourself isn't just about big, lofty ideas. It's about the small daily choices that add up. It's choosing to learn something new when you're tired. It's choosing to ask for help when your pride wants to say no. It's choosing to take a risk, even if it's just a small one, like pitching an idea or speaking up in a meeting. I remember when I first pitched the idea for the Boring Company, people laughed tunnels under cities. Really, Elon? But I kept at it because even the craziest ideas start with a single step. What's your next step? What's the one thing you can do today, right now, to move closer to your vision? It doesn't have to be huge, it just has to be yours. Here's something I've learned about building: it's not a solo job. Even the greatest architects need a team. For me, it's been the engineers at SpaceX, the designers at Tesla, the dreamers who believed in my vision when it was just a sketch. For you, it's the people who lift you up, your friends, your mentors, your family. Surround yourself with people who see your potential, who challenge you to be better, who don't let you settle for less. And be that person for someone else too. Because when you build together, you create something stronger than any one person could alone. You create a network, a foundation, a legacy that can withstand anything. I want to end this part with a challenge. I want you to think of your life as a construction site. It's messy, it's loud, it's full of half finished ideas and broken tools, but it's also full of potential. Every day is a chance to lay another brick, to strengthen your foundation, to raise your structure a little higher. Don't be afraid of the mess, don't be afraid of the work. Embrace it, because the woman who builds through the chaos, through the doubt, through the setbacks, she's the one who creates something unforgettable. She's the one who changes the world. And I know that woman is you. So keep going, keep building. This letter isn't done yet, and neither are you. The next part is about facing the storms because they're coming, but so is your strength, so is your vision, and so is the future you're going to create. You're still with me, and that's no small thing. It means you're not just dreaming, you're ready to fight for those dreams, to stand tall when the world tries to knock you down. This part of my letter isn't about the calm days or the easy wins, it's about the storms. The moments when life feels like it's throwing everything it's got at you: doubt, failure, fear, chaos, and you have to decide whether to run or to stand your ground. I'm here to tell you, as someone who's been through more than a few tempests, that you've got what it takes to weather any storm. You, the woman listening to this, are tougher than the toughest steel, fiercer than the wildest hurricane, and I'm going to show you why, because this is where your strength shines brightest. Let's talk about storms, not the kind with rain and thunder, but the kind that shake your core. The moments when everything feels like it's falling apart, your plans, your confidence, maybe even your sense of who you are. I've been there. When SpaceX was on its last legs, with 3 failed launches and a bank account that was bleeding out, I felt the storm. It wasn't just about losing money or a rocket. It was about losing a piece of the dream that I'd poured my life into. The world was watching, waiting for me to give up, to admit I'd bitten off more than I could chew. But I didn't, not because I'm some superhero, but because I knew that storms don't last forever. They test you, they refine you, and if you hold on, they make you stronger than you ever thought possible. You've faced storms too, haven't you? Maybe it was a job that didn't work out, a relationship that broke your heart, or a moment when you looked in the mirror and didn't recognize the person staring back. Those moments hurt. They make you question everything. But here's the truth: those storms aren't here to destroy you, they're here to forge you. Think about a diamond, it's just carbon until it's crushed under unimaginable pressure. That pressure doesn't break it, it transforms it into something unbreakable, something that shines. That's you right now. Every challenge, every setback, every tear you've shed, it's not weakness. It's the pressure that's turning you into something extraordinary. Let's get specific. What does it mean to ride out a storm? It's not about pretending everything's fine or putting on a brave face when you're crumbling inside. It's about action. It's about choosing to move forward, even when every step feels like wading through mud. When Tesla was on the verge of bankruptcy in 2008, I didn't just sit there hoping for a miracle. I worked 20-hour days, slept on the factory floor, and begged investors for one more chance. It wasn't glamorous, it wasn't fun, but it was necessary. And you know what? We made it through. Not because we were lucky, but because we refused to let the storm win. So, what's your storm right now? Is it a career that feels stuck? A dream that feels too big? A voice in your head telling you you're not enough? Whatever it is, don't run from it. Face it, fight it, because you're built for this. Resilience isn't something you're born with, it's something you build one choice at a time. It's deciding to get up after you've been knocked down. It's choosing to learn from a mistake instead of letting it define you. It's saying, I'm still here and I'm not done yet. I remember when we were trying to land the Falcon 9 for the first time. We crashed rocket after rocket into the ocean. Each failure was a gut punch, but it was also a lesson. We tweaked the design, adjusted the software, recalculated the trajectory, and when that rocket finally landed on a tiny platform in the middle of the Atlantic, it wasn't just a win for SpaceX, it was proof that resilience pays off. You've got that same power. Every time you choose to keep going, you're landing your own rocket. You're proving that no storm can keep you down. Now, let's talk about the world around you. Sometimes the biggest storms come from outside people who doubt you, systems that try to box you in, expectations that tell you to stay small. As a woman, you've probably felt this more than most. The world loves to tell you what you can't do, what's not for you. I've seen it with the women I've worked with, engineers, scientists, leaders who've had to fight twice as hard to be heard. But you know what? Those women didn't just survive those storms, they conquered them. They built careers, shattered ceilings, and changed the game. And you can too. Don't let the noise of the world drown out your voice. You're not here to fit in, you're here to stand out. Here's a practical piece of advice. When the storm hits, anchor yourself in purpose. Why are you doing this? What's the vision that keeps you going? For me, it's always been about the big picture, making life multiplanetary, saving the planet with sustainable energy, connecting human minds to machines. That purpose is my North Star. It's what keeps me steady when everything else is shaking. What's your North Star? Maybe it's creating a life where your kids can dream without limits. Maybe it's building a business that changes lives. Maybe it's simply becoming the woman you always knew you could be. Whatever it is, hold on to it, write it down, say it out loud, let it be the thing that pulls you through when the winds are howling. Another thing about storms, they reveal who's in your corner. The people who stand by you when things get tough, they're your crew, your team, your rocket fuel. I wouldn't have made it through the darkest days of SpaceX without the engineers who stayed late, the friends who believed in me, the family who never let me quit. Surround yourself with people who lift you up, who remind you of your strength when you forget it, and be that person for someone else. Because resilience isn't just about you, it's about the network you build, the community that holds strong when the world tries to tear it apart. Let's talk about fear, because it's part of every storm. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of not being enough. I feel it too. When I announced Neuralink, I was terrified. What if it didn't work? What if the world laughed? But I've learned that fear is just a signal. It's your brain telling you that you're pushing the boundaries of what's comfortable, and that's exactly where you need to be. Comfort doesn't build greatness, fear does. So lean into it, let it sharpen your focus, let it remind you that you're playing a bigger game than most people dare to. When I'm scared, I think about the alternative, living a life where I never tried, where I let fear win. That's scarier than any failure. So, what's scarier for you, facing the storm or living a life where you never truly shone? Here's a story to drive this home. When we were developing the Tesla Model S, we hit a point where nothing was working. The batteries were overheating, the supply chain was a nightmare, and we were burning through cash faster than a rocket burns fuel. I remember standing in the factory, surrounded by half built cars, thinking, this could be the end. But I didn't walk away, I doubled down. I called every engineer, every supplier, every person who could help us solve the problem, and bit by bit, we did. The Model S didn't just become a car, it became a symbol of what's possible when you refuse to give up. You've got a Model S moment in your life right now. Maybe it's a project that's stalled, a goal that feels out of reach, a challenge that seems too big. Don't walk away, double down. You've got this. One last thing, storms don't just test you, they transform you. Every time you push through, you come out different, stronger, clearer, more certain of who you are. I'm not the same person I was when SpaceX started. The failures, the long nights, the moments when I thought I'd lost it all, they shaped me. They made me better. And your storms are doing the same for you. They're not breaking you, they're building you. So embrace them. Let them carve away the doubts, the fears, the parts of you that don't belong. What's left will be a woman who's unstoppable, a woman who can face anything and come out shining. This letter's not over yet. We've got more to cover about pushing boundaries, embracing flaws, and building a future that's bigger than you ever imagined. So hold tight, the storm's not done, but neither are you. You're stronger than you know, and I'm rooting for you to prove it. You're still here, and that tells me something. It tells me you're not content with standing still. You're not here to settle for the ordinary, to live a life that fits neatly inside the lines someone else drew for you. You're here to push boundaries, to break through the walls of what's possible, and to chase a vision so big it scares you. That's the spirit I see in you, the woman listening to this letter. You're not just a dreamer, you're a doer, a builder, a force, ready to reshape the world. This part of my letter is about daring to go beyond, to step into the unknown, and to build a life that doesn't just exist, but expands, explores, and explodes with possibility. Let's talk about what it means to push boundaries, because that's where the magic happens. When I think about pushing boundaries, I think about the moment I decided to aim for Mars, not just to build a rocket, but to make humanity a multiplanetary species. People thought I was out of my mind. Mars? It's 140 million miles away on a good day. But here's the thing, the biggest leaps in history didn't come from playing it safe. They came from people who looked at the impossible and said, why not? That's what I'm asking you to do right now. Look at the impossible in your life, the dream that feels too big, the goal that seems out of reach, the version of yourself you're afraid to become, and ask yourself, why not? Why can't you be the one to change the game? Why can't you be the one to rewrite the rules? Pushing boundaries isn't just about ambition, it's about refusing to let fear call the shots. Fear is a liar. It tells you to stay small, to stick to what's comfortable, to avoid the risk of falling. But let me tell you something, falling isn't the worst thing. Staying grounded when you were meant to soar, that's the real tragedy. When I started Neuralink, the idea of connecting human brains to computers sounded like science fiction. Even I had moments of doubt. What if it fails? What if it's too far ahead of its time? But I pushed through because the alternative, never trying, never exploring, never daring, was worse. I want you to think about your own boundaries. What's holding you back? Is it the fear of failing? The fear of being judged? The fear that you're not enough? Whatever it is, it's not stronger than you. You're tougher than that. You're built to break through. Let's talk about what it looks like to push boundaries in your life. It's not always about launching rockets or building billion-dollar companies. Sometimes it's about saying yes to a challenge that scares you. Maybe it's starting a business when everyone says it's too risky. Maybe it's going back to school to chase a degree you've always wanted. Maybe it's speaking up in a room full of people who don't look like you or think like you. I remember when we were developing the Tesla Roadster, we didn't have the budget, the team, or the tech to compete with the giants of the auto industry. But we said yes anyway. We took the leap, and that leap turned into a revolution. What's the leap you need to take? What's the boundary you need to cross? It doesn't have to be huge, it just has to be yours. Here's a truth I've learned. Boundaries are often self-imposed. The world will try to box you in, sure. It'll tell you what a woman should do, what's realistic for you. But the most dangerous boundaries are the ones you build in your own mind. The voice that says, I'm not smart enough, I'm not ready, I'm not the type. I've had that voice too. When I first moved to the US with nothing but a few bucks and a crazy dream, I doubted myself. I wondered if I was biting off more than I could chew, but I learned to talk back to that voice. I told it, maybe I'm not ready, but I'm going to figure it out, and you can too. That voice in your head, it's not your boss, you are. So tell it to step aside because you've got work to do. Pushing boundaries also means embracing the unknown. The unknown is scary, it's uncharted territory, full of risks and what ifs, but it's also where the good stuff happens. It's where you discover what you're really made of. When we launched the first Starship prototype, we didn't know if it would even get off the ground. We called it the Hopper because we hoped it would at least hop a few feet. It crashed, exploded, failed spectacularly, but each failure was a step into the unknown, a step towards something bigger. You've got your own unknown waiting for you. Maybe it's a new career path, a move to a new city, a project that feels like a long shot. Don't shy away from it. Step into it. Let the unknown be your playground, not your prison. Another thing about boundaries, they're easier to push when you're not alone. I've never built anything great by myself. SpaceX, Tesla, the Boring Company, they're all the work of teams of people who shared the vision and dared to push with me. You need your team too. Not just friends or family, but people who see your potential, who challenge you to go further, who pick you up when you stumble. Find those people, surround yourself with them, and be that person for someone else. Because when you push boundaries together, you don't just break through, you create something unstoppable. I think about the women who've pushed boundaries alongside me, engineers, designers, leaders who refuse to let the world define their limits. They're my inspiration, and I want you to be that inspiration for someone else. Let's get practical. How do you start pushing boundaries today? First, identify one boundary you're ready to challenge. Maybe it's a belief about what you're capable of. Maybe it's a goal you've been putting off. Write it down. Make it real. Then take one step toward it. It could be as simple as signing up for a class, sending an email, or having a conversation you've been avoiding. When I started the Boring Company, the first step was just a sketch, an idea for tunnels that could change how we move. That sketch led to prototypes, which led to real tunnels. Your first step doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be a start. Here's a story to keep you going. When we were working on the Tesla Gigafactory, we were told it was impossible to build a factory that size on our timeline. The numbers didn't add up hundreds of millions of dollars, thousands of workers, a deadline that seemed insane. But we didn't let impossible stop us. We broke ground, we worked around the clock, and we made it happen. Today, that factory produces enough batteries to power millions of cars. That's what happens when you push past the boundary of impossible. You turn it into reality. So, what's your gigafactory? What's the thing everyone says you can't do? Go do it. Prove them wrong. One more thing, pushing boundaries isn't just about external goals. It's about pushing the boundaries within yourself. It's about being honest with your fears, your doubts, your vulnerabilities. It's about saying, I'm not perfect, but I'm growing. I've had to do this too. I've had to face my own limits, my temper, my impatience, my tendency to take on too much. But every time I confront those boundaries, I grow. I become a better leader, a better thinker, a better human. You can do the same. Be brave enough to look at the parts of yourself you're afraid to face. That's where the real growth happens. This letter is still unfolding, just like your journey. We've talked about building your foundation, riding out the storms, and now pushing beyond what's comfortable. The next part is about embracing your flaws, because they're not your enemy, they're your fuel. So keep listening, keep daring, keep pushing, because you, my friend, are just getting started, and the universe is waiting to see what you'll do next. You're still here, and that means you're not just chasing dreams, you're committed to becoming the woman who makes them real. We've talked about building your foundation, weathering storms, and pushing past boundaries. Now, let's get to the heart of something raw and real, your flaws. Those parts of you that you hide, that you wish you could change, that keep you up at night wondering if they'll hold you back. I'm here to tell you they won't. Your flaws aren't your enemies, they're your fuel. They're the raw material that, when embraced, will make you stronger, wiser, and more unstoppable than you ever thought possible. This part of my letter is about turning your imperfections into the rocket fuel that propels you forward, because the woman I see in you isn't perfect, she's extraordinary, and that's so much better. Let's start with a hard truth. Nobody's perfect, not me, not you, not anyone. When I started SpaceX, I wasn't some flawless genius with all the answers. I made mistakes, big ones. I miscalculated designs, underestimated costs, and sometimes let my temper get the better of me. There were moments when I thought those flaws would sink me, that they'd prove I wasn't cut out for the mission I'd set for myself. But here's what I learned. Flaws don't define you, they refine you. Every time I screwed up, I had a choice. Let it crush me or let it teach me. I chose to learn, and I want you to make that same choice. Your imperfections, whether it's self-doubt, impatience, or a habit you wish you could break, are not roadblocks. They're stepping stones to a stronger you. Think about it like building a Tesla. Every prototype we made had flaws. The early Model S had battery issues, software glitches, doors that didn't quite close right. But we didn't throw out the whole car because of those imperfections. We studied them, fixed them, and made the next version better. Your life is like that prototype. Your flaws are just early iterations, not the final product. Maybe you've got a tendency to procrastinate, or you struggle to speak up in a crowd, or you beat yourself up when things don't go perfectly. Those aren't reasons to give up, they're data points. They're telling you where to focus, where to grow, where to iterate. So don't hide from your flaws, roll up your sleeves, grab a wrench, and start tweaking. Here's the story to bring this home. Um, when we were developing the Hyperloop concept, I knew it was a long shot. A vacuum tube that could shoot pods at 700 miles per hour. Even I wondered if I was pushing too far. My flaw in that moment was overconfidence. I thought we could crack it faster than we did. But when the early designs didn't work, when the math didn't add up, I didn't let that flaw define the project. I leaned into it. I asked for help, brought in smarter people, and kept iterating. That's what flaws do. They force you to grow, to collaborate, to think differently. Today, Hyperloop is still a work in progress, but it's closer to reality because we didn't let imperfection stop us. What's the flaw you're letting hold you back? What if, instead of fighting it, you used it to propel you forward? Now, let's talk about why flaws matter, especially for you as a woman. The world loves to hold women to impossible standards. Be perfect, be poised, be everything to everyone. It's exhausting and it's unfair. I've seen it with the women I've worked with, brilliant engineers, leaders, creators who feel they have to be flawless to be taken seriously. But here's the truth: perfection is a trap. It's a cage that keeps you from taking risks, from being real, from growing. I want you to break out of that cage. Your flaws, whether it's a moment of insecurity, a mistake you made, or a fear you can't shake, are what make you human. And being human is what makes you powerful. It's what lets you connect, inspire, and lead in ways that no perfect person ever could. Let's get practical. How do you turn flaws into fuel? First, own them. Stop pretending they don't exist. When I realized I was burning out my teams by pushing too hard, I had to admit it. I had to say, I'm not managing this well and I need to do better. That admission wasn't weakness, it was strength. It let me change how I led and it made my team stronger. So, take a moment and name one flaw you've been hiding from. Maybe you're afraid to admit you don't know something or you're too hard on yourself when you fail. Write it down, say it out loud. Owning it is the first step to transforming it. Next, learn from it. Every flaw is a teacher if you let it be. When I was younger, I used to think I had to have all the answers. It was a flaw that made me stubborn, closed off. But when I started listening, really listening to my teams, to critics, even to my own doubts, I grew. I became a better problem solver, a better leader. Your flaws are trying to teach you something too. If you're impatient, maybe it's teaching you to slow down and listen. If you're afraid of failure, maybe it's teaching you to redefine success. Ask yourself, what's this flaw trying to show me? How can I use it to get better? Here's another key: share your flaws. Not with everyone, but with the people who matter: your team, your mentors, the ones who lift you up. Vulnerability is rocket fuel for connection. When I admitted to my SpaceX team that I was terrified we'd fail on our fourth Falcon 1 launch, it didn't weaken us, it brought us closer. They saw I was human, and it made them fight harder. You don't have to pretend to be perfect with the people who matter. Let them see your cracks, let them help you patch them. Because when you share your flaws, you build trust, and trust is what turns a group of people into a force that can move mountains. Let's talk about the beauty of imperfection. Think about the women who've changed the world. Rosa Parks wasn't perfect. She was a seamstress who got tired and refused to move. That flaw of exhaustion sparked a movement. J.K. Rowling wasn't perfect. She was a single mom struggling to make ends meet. That flaw of hardship gave us Harry Potter. Your imperfections are what make your story unique. They're what make you relatable, inspiring, real. So, don't hide them, celebrate them. They're the cracks that let your light shine through. One more thing: flaws are only fuel if you keep moving. It's easy to get stuck, to let a mistake or a weakness become an excuse to stop. I've been there. After a string of failures with early Tesla prototypes, I could have said, "This is too hard. I'm not cut out for this." But I didn't. I kept moving, kept tweaking, kept learning. And you can too. When you stumble and your will don't stay down, dust yourself off, look at what went wrong, and take the next step. That's how you turn a flaw into progress, a mistake into momentum. This letter is not done yet. We've got one more part to go about building a future that's bigger than today, a future that's worth fighting for. So keep listening, keep growing. Your flaws aren't holding you back, they're pushing you forward. And I can't wait to see where they take you. You've made it this far, and that's no small feat. You've built a foundation, weathered storms, pushed past boundaries, and turned your flaws into fuel. Now we're at the final chapter of this letter, and it's about the biggest idea of all, of the future. Not just tomorrow or next year, but the kind of future that stretches beyond your lifetime, that leaves a mark so deep it echoes through generations. This isn't about living for today's fleeting moments, it's about crafting a life, a legacy, a love so powerful it redefines what's possible. You, the woman listening to this, are not just here to exist, you're here to create a tomorrow that's worth fighting for, a tomorrow that reflects the fire in your soul. Let's talk about how to make that happen because this is where your vision becomes eternal. When I think about the future, I don't think small. I think about humanity living on Mars, about cities powered by clean energy, about minds connected to machines in ways that unlock our potential. That's the scale of my dreams, and I want you to dream at that scale too. Not because you need to colonize planets, but because you deserve to chase a vision that sets your heart on fire. The future isn't something that just happens to you, it's something you build brick by brick, choice by choice. And the love I'm talking about in this letter, it's not just love for another person, it's love for the life you're creating, for the woman you're becoming, for the impact you'll leave behind. It's a love that doesn't stop at today but reaches into tomorrow with purpose and power. Let's start with vision. Every great future begins with a picture in your mind. When I started SpaceX, I didn't just see rockets. I saw a species that could outlive Earth, that could explore the stars. That vision wasn't just a daydream. It was a blueprint that guided every decision, every sacrifice. What's your vision? Maybe it's building a family that carries your values forward, strong and kind and fearless. Maybe it's creating a business that solves a problem nobody else has cracked. Maybe it's leaving a piece of art, a book, a movement that inspires others long after you're gone. Whatever it is, make it vivid. See it in your mind's eye. Feel it in your bones. Because a vision you can feel is a vision you can fight for. Here's the thing about the future. It's not guaranteed. It's not a gift handed to you on a silver platter. It's a construction project, and you're the architect. When we built the Tesla Gigafactory, it wasn't just about throwing up a building. It was about creating a future where electric cars could outnumber gas guzzlers, where clean energy could power the world. Every decision where to place a beam, how to optimize a battery cell was a step toward that future. Your life is the same. Every choice you make today, no matter how small, is a beam in the structure of your tomorrow. Choosing to learn a new skill, to stand up for what you believe in, to take a risk when everyone says play it safe, those are the moments that shape what's to come. Now, let's talk about legacy. I don't mean a statue or a name on a building. I mean the ripple effect of your life, the way your actions today touch the lives of others tomorrow. When I think about legacy, I think about the kids who look at SpaceX launches and dream of becoming astronauts. I think about the people driving Teslas who know they're part of a cleaner planet. Your legacy doesn't have to be global, but it should be meaningful. Maybe it's the way you raise your children to be curious and brave. Maybe it's the way you mentor someone who's struggling, showing them they're not alone. Maybe it's the way you live with integrity, inspiring others to do the same. Whatever it is, your legacy is the proof that you were here, that you mattered, that you changed something for the better. Let's get real for a moment. Building a future isn't easy. It's not all grand visions and triumphant moments. It's long nights, tough choices, and moments when you wonder if it's worth it. I've had those moments. When we were scaling Neuralink, trying to figure out how to connect brains to computers, there were days when the science felt impossible, when the setbacks piled up, when I questioned if we'd ever get there. But I kept going, because the future I saw, a world where humans could transcend their limits, was worth every sleepless night. Your future is worth that too. Whatever you're building, a career, a family, a dream, it's worth the hard days. It's worth the moments when you feel like giving up. Because when you look back, you won't remember the pain. You'll remember what you created. Here's a practical step. Start small but think big. You don't need to have the whole future mapped out today. When I started the Boring Company, it began with a single idea: digging tunnels to ease traffic. It was a small step toward a big vision: cities where people could move faster, live better. What's your small step? Maybe it's signing up for a course that scares you. Maybe it's writing the first page of a book you've always wanted to create. Maybe it's having a conversation with someone who could open a door. Take that step today. Don't wait for the perfect moment, because the perfect moment is a myth. The future is built by people who start before they're ready. Let's talk about inspiration, because that's what keeps the future alive. The women who've shaped history didn't just build for themselves, they built for others. Think of someone like Malala Yousafzai, who turned her own fight for education into a global movement, or Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who spent her life carving out a path for equality that others could follow. Their futures weren't just about them, they were about the people they inspired, the doors they opened, the possibilities they created. You have that power too. Your life, your choices, your courage, they don't just shape your future. They shape the futures of everyone who sees you, who knows you, who's touched by your lights. So live in a way that inspires, live in a way that makes others believe they can build their own tomorrow. One more thing. The future you're building isn't just for you, it's for the world. When I think about why I do what I do, it's not about personal glory. It's about leaving the planet better than I found it, about giving humanity a shot at something bigger. Your future can do that too. Maybe it's creating a business that solves a problem in your community. Maybe it's raising kids who grow up to be problem solvers, dreamers, doers. Maybe it's simply living with such passion and purpose that others can't help but be inspired. Whatever it is, your future has the power to ripple outward, to touch lives you'll never meet, to change things you'll never see. Here's a story to tie this together. When we launched the first crewed mission to the International Space Station with Crew Dragon, it wasn't just about getting astronauts to space. It was about proving that we could build a future where private companies could open the stars to everyone. The road to that launch was brutal: years of engineering, testing, failures, and moments when I thought we'd never pull it off. But when I saw that capsule dock with the station 250 miles above Earth, I knew every second of struggle was worth it. That's what I want for you. A moment where you look at what you've built and know it was worth every fight, every tear, every doubt. Your future is waiting for that moment. Don't let it slip away. This letter is almost done, but your story is just beginning. You're not just a woman with dreams, you're a force with a future. You're an architect, a creator, a builder of tomorrow. So go out there and build it. Make it bold, make it yours, make it a future that when you look back, you'll know you lived for something bigger than yourself. Because you, my friend, are the love letter the world's been waiting to read.